Okay, filming a day in the life video today. Actually filmed this first part vertically the other day, so I'm just redoing it horizontally today. But this will be the intro into what a normal day looks like for me. Okay, I'm gonna make meal two. I think what I have, most likely it's gonna be 6 ounces of chicken breast with a little over a cup of rice. I just bought pre-made rice packets. I think they're 80 grams carbs. They're closer to 2 cups of rice, I guess, than 1 cup. But who's counting when you're fat and it's the off season? Good thing to do is know the weight of your containers. If you ever buy a new set of containers or a different brand, tear out your scale, zero out what the weight of the scale is, and just remember it. This is like 1.2 ounces. So I'm 5 ounces there. I need a little more chicken. Need about 2 ounces more. So I'm gonna do the old school. If anyone remembers watching Ronnie Coleman's daughter peel off chunks of chicken with her bare hands, that's about as close to Ronnie Coleman as I'll get. I'm trying to find the fattier pieces so that it tastes better, but I can still pretend like I was eating chicken. All right, there we go. Go grab the rice real quick. These things I can't say enough about. Cooked sticky white rice. It's basically sushi rice. It's, like I said, uh, 71 grams of carbs. For whatever reason, these have changed. They were 80 at one point. I think they were 85 at one point again. Now they're 71. It could be different brands. It's not like I pay that much attention. They're just bowl-shaped rice. But I, uh, I'm typically looking to get about 50 grams of protein and 50 grams of carbs in hopefully 4 meals for the day. And then for breakfast, which I forgot to film, I almost always have 4 eggs with Velveeta cheese slices. It's basically like American cheese, but they're only 1.5 grams of fat per slice. And it tastes really good. And I'm not competing. It's close enough for me. And then the grits, I'll do about 60 grams of carbs usually from the grits for that. So like 5 meals total. Not very much food. I was not blessed with a metabolism at all. I was blessed with an appetite. I can eat 10 times what I'm eating, but this will hold me in the 270s without any real effort. I'm not carb cycling much right now. I'll have a little more carbs on my high day, but I'm so busy with work and the businesses that it's just not a primary focus. I'm just trying to look not terrible. And we have some film sessions coming up. I'll be filming with John Heck, strength and conditioning coach for the Houston Texans, or was. He just took a new role that'll start next year. But he's a monster. He'll probably be close to 340 pounds when he's here at 6'8", 6'9". And so I might need to step it up a little bit before he gets here. Okay, I'm a spice guy, so I add something spicy to pretty much everything I eat. This one I added mostly Nashville hot chicken. That's after the immense amounts of salt I add, because I'm also a high sodium guy. I don't understand to people who can even eat low sodium. But one important thing is to note is that sodium acts sort of like an androgen in the body. And some of you might know this. You might know it's fairly common in females to prescribe aldactone uh, for uh, for acne or PCOS sometimes or other hormonal imbalances. Uh, Aldactone works through aldosterone, which is kind of how we flush sodium in the body. And so by lowering the amount of sodium in the body, you lower the kind of the androgenic hormones, not really, but sort of, and it's supposed to help with acne. And so, and also one of the side effects of aldosterone, if you or aldactone, if you look at the ingredient list, or if you look at the pamphlet, one of the side effects for men is gynecomastia, actually. So I recommend high sodium really all the time. I don't know how people don't eat high sodium because it's the only thing that makes food taste good. But I don't have a sweet tooth. I think for some reason my mouth doesn't taste sugar properly because it just really tastes almost like nothing to me. But I love salt, so no, no, I have to get no. I'm gonna have to get another phone because one of the things about being a coach is you can never really take a break. There's always text coming through. So typically, what you do is you'll email, and then when you eat, you'll answer your text, and then you'll go back to your emails, and the next time you eat, you'll answer your text. So I have two phones. This is a brand new iPhone 15. I have a 13 somewhere that I was going to give to one of my daughters if they earned it. Uh, it's quite possible they decided themselves that they earned it because I don't know where the phone is. But once I find it, I'll be using that, and then I'll be able to have a phone in my hand also, so you can see me how I really am, which is completely non-responsive, other than looking at my phone. But if you want to know how some of the larger competitors I work with eat, this is John Heck. He's a strength and conditioning coach for the Houston Texans. He's actually leaving them this year, moving to a director position with the collegiate team. But he's right now 316 pounds. He finished a diet. He's up 21 pounds from the end of his diet. We're doing the rebound, and that's what he looks like currently, up 21 pounds. And you can see he's not eating enough food, especially on low days. So what we're moving him to is 70 grams of protein per meal, 75 grams of carbs, and 14 grams of added fat. So fat added on top of the fat that's already in the protein and the carbs. The protein, the reason we do that is because he has a range of protein sources that are all approximately the same amount of fat per serving, at least close enough so that, a particular fat, particularly fatty chicken breast will have, could potentially have more fat per serving than a very lean uh, portion of 96.4 ground beef. That the lean ground beef isn't made in a lab. It's in a farm where they're looking for the lean cuts of meat. It's as close as they can get, but there's a range of fat for any animal source. Animals are animals. They're not all identical. So we don't count that fat explicitly, but it is implied. It's implicit in the diet. But we do add explicitly added fat at certain meals. On his medium days, his training days that aren't his high carb days, right now, he's doing 60 grams of protein per meal with an intra workout, field rations, one serving, and then he's doing 85 grams of carbs per meal with 14 grams of fat and 60 grams of protein throughout the day. So his base direct macronutrients, not counting indirect macronutrients, which will add about 20% of the calorie total, depending on how lean his protein sources are. He's at 370 grams of protein, 665 grams of carbs, and 56 grams of added fat, which is about 100 grams of fat for the day. Now, his high carb days, which he gets 2 a week right now, and we've been moving to 3 pretty quickly. The reason he's at 2 right now is he's early in the rebound. I don't want him so full that his lower back gets too tight and he's not even able to train properly. But he's going to be in the 1,000 gram club, I believe. Exactly. And so he's at 50 grams of protein 6 times per day, with a double intra-workout shake, 175 grams of carbs pre and post workout, 150 grams of carbs every other workout, 50 grams of carbs during the workout for a grand total of 1,000 grams of carbs on a day that he also eats 320 grams of protein. We do no added fat on those days. There will be fat. There's going to be somewhere around 50 grams of total fat because from the chicken but we really try to pick lean sources of protein on the high days. So you can see he's eating quite a bit. He's 316 here. He'll be well over 320 next week. We're going to be filming. The Texans just lost in the playoffs, so we were waiting to film some training sessions until his season was over. And now that that has happened, we'll get it scheduled. And like I told him a few weeks ago, it sucks for me because we're going to film right at the peak of his rebound when he's 340 pounds with abs and as strong as ever. So I got my work cut out for me hanging with him in the gym. But it's fun. It's fun building monsters like that. I'll tell you that much. Okay, now it's school pickups. My wife is a dentist. She works. She works on Mondays, which today is. So I'm tasked with school pickups. So we'll start that process now. I don't know how well you can see, but of course, lovely Michigan. Got at least a foot of snow right now. Difficult to get out of the driveway with the Tesla, but got the plow truck, but it's a diesel, and I didn't want to warm it up, so we're risking it here. Hopefully, I'm not one of those memes where I'm stuck on the side of the road getting towed in a Tesla, but I think we'll be okay. I need to get a stabilizer. So I live out in the middle of nowhere, which means it's a 20-minute drive to get to anything, 30-minute drive to get to anything worth getting to, and even longer to get to anywhere anyone else is. So it's not all positives living out in the middle of nowhere, but it mostly is. We live on a private lake, uh, farm on the other side to the west of us, so sunrise and sunset we can both see over the horizon. The sun rises over the lake. It's gorgeous in the morning. If I ever woke up early enough to see it, I'd take a video of it. Uh, sunset never looks quite as amazing, I think, but we can see that over the horizon too, so it's pretty cool. I have four daughters. Four of them are in different schools, so I always make school pickups fun. Uh, Luckily now, two of them are driving though, so it's only two school pickups. But for years, school pickup was a 2 hour process. It would be I'd leave the house. It's right now about 2 o'clock, and I'd drive down to St. Augustine's Catholic Middle School for pickups at 2:50. Trying to think of the order here now. It's been several years. Then we go from there to pickups at the high school, which is about 10 minutes away. And then we drive back about 35 minutes, 40 minutes to daycare, which was another 15, 20 minutes from home. And so it would end up being I'd leave at 2 and get home at 4. So a 2 hour process of school pickups. And that was when my wife was still working full time as a dentist. So she would handle the mornings. It'd be an extra 2 hours onto her day, and then I would handle the afternoons. Now she's home most of the week, 1 day a week. She still works. I mean, she works every day. She'll work for for Troponin or First Attachment or the companies at home with some properties too. She essentially does all the storage unit work, all the invoicing and handling of that. All I really do there is uh, handle some of the maintenance and clear, cut a lock if I need to, or clear out a space if I need it. So yeah, but that's where we're at. We're driving through lovely middle of nowhere, Michigan, on our way to Gull Lake High School to pick up my freshman. Then, as as things do, they work out just perfectly. Where there's if I go right from high school to the elementary school, and I say elementary school, our youngest is actually homeschooled. We're trying that this year since my wife is home most days, but twice a week she goes to a school, so homeschooled school, but it's a school setting to make sure that she kind of still gets that social experience. And it's we pick her up at 3, so I pick up Emmy at 2:20, and then it's 10 minutes away for the 3 o'clock pickup. So there's just enough time to take Emmy all the way back home, 20 minutes, and drive all the way back to do the pickup from of the youngest. And I don't, I mean, I could leave her in the car, but I take her home and drive again. Mostly because I'm in a Tesla, so driving's pretty much free. And I don't want anything I do to turn into a Tesla advertisement because I don't care what people buy or what people think. And for a long time, I wasn't a fan of electric vehicles, primarily because they were originally trying to do them like a Prius, like a dual, a hybrid with a weak electric motor and a weak internal combustion engine. But I'm an absolute convert now. I don't know that I'll ever buy another gas daily driver. I, every time I leave the house, I have a full tank of fuel. People think filling up's a pain in the butt, and it's not especially fun on long trips. But what people don't understand is the way lithium ions work is slightly different than like a lead battery. It's kind of like they have to find a space. So if you think of all your batteries as like a movie theater, when you run out of battery in a Tesla, the movie theater is empty. So when you go to charge it and you plug it in, it's like opening the doors to an empty movie theater. Everyone finds a seat. It's super easy, and so the first half of a charge takes just a few minutes, and then each new half after that takes progressively longer. So it might take 35 minutes to fill up uh, completely from empty at a supercharger. But what usually happens on the road, I get close to 400 miles, maybe not in this cold weather, but in good weather, close to 400 miles. And I actually do. I don't know, they'll do testing, and a lot of times they'll come up short with electric vehicles, but I get somewhere between 350 and 400. But my problem is my bladder can't last 400 miles. So I'll get 300 miles in or 300, 20 miles in or something, and I'll have 80 miles left to go, but I just can't hold my pee anymore. And so I'll put it in the Tesla. It'll reroute you to the nearest supercharger. I'll pull in. I'll run in, go pee, grab maybe a Diet Mountain Dew, and by the time I come back, I'll have 275 miles. Because the early charge goes so fast, and so it's actually not nearly the problem you'd think. And so at that point, I've driven, 300 miles, and now I have another 270 before I need to stop again. And so, that's 550 miles. It's not like people are driving 550 miles every day. That typically is when I drive to Elite FTS to film. I can make it all the way there without stopping, but my bladder can't. And so I do that. Then just in the time it takes to pee and grab a pop, I'm back up to 270 miles. I get there and I'll have 200 miles to go. And so at some point on the way home, I will have to stop again. But again, by then I'm 200 miles on the way home of a 300-mile trip, and so I'm pretty low on fuel again. It charges up real quickly, so usually it's only a 5, 8 minute stop, maybe 10 minutes. But if it's a 250 kilowatt charger, it's no more than 5 or 7 minutes. And then I'm back home, and then I plug it in the wall in the garage. And so really, it's actually much more convenient than a gas vehicle. And I learned it the hard way because when I first got the test, I have the Model S Plaid. I got the 21-inch wheels with street slicks, and they're only summer tires. Not supposed to drive them when the temps are below 40. So the first day, cold day, I go to pick up that 2 hour round trip process, and I go to jump in the truck, and it's on E, and so I hadn't even thought about that in months because I never have to worry about it. There's always batteries because I just plug it in when I get home. I just plug it in the wall outlet. And so I was late picking them up because I had to stop by a gas station and add some diesel into the truck before I could pick them up. And it was weird because, you think the electric vehicle issue is going to be the charging when it's completely the opposite because you charge at home. You never have to think about it unless you take a long road trip, which you do sometimes. Like we went to Kokomo or Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is a 3 hour drive for my buddy Brad Hall's 40th birthday. And so, we went all the way there just fine without stopping. But then we did have to stop and do a charge on the way home, and we we got routed to a pretty crappy supercharger. It was only a 150 kilowatt charger, so it took a little longer. So we were probably there 25 minutes, and so that was a pain in the butt for a 3 hour drive. But 99, maybe some people drive, across state lines every day. I don't. I rarely drive more than, a couple hundred miles a day. And unless I'm going to drive, essentially 400 miles without stopping, I never have to worry about it because I leave my garage, and the next time I have to worry about anything, I'm in another state, and I don't usually drive to other states. Usually just to, well, since I train at home now, usually just to pick up kids, or maybe drive to the convenience store. So it's actually quite a bit different than I thought. That you never think about the charging because you just always have a full tank of electricity. Okay, we just dropped the 14-year-old off back at home, and away we go again to the next school. Another 30-minute drive. Bumpy also. So again, for anyone wanting to move out in the middle of nowhere, it's absolutely beautiful and absolutely sucks when you have to do anything. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I like the privacy. I don't know that I could even live in a city now. I can go out, run around in my underwear, shooting guns in the air. No one knows or says anything, or if they do know, they don't say anything. I don't do it that often now. This will be the 8-year-old in whatever grade 8-year-olds are in. I think third grade. Uh, and then back to work. So Mondays are my worst days. It's usually up about 7-ish. That's when kind of the kids are heading out to school and Jory's heading to work. I hit cardio real quick. Uh, I do now. For a while, I got away from it. But as everyone knows, when you do cardio, you feel better and you're happy to do it. You just got to get through those first few sessions. But I recently came back from Bucerias, Mexico over the holidays and saw a few videos of me body surfing. And in my mind, the way the body surfing went was like what was some of the old surfers' names? Slater. I thought I was, gleaming the cube and graceful ballerina riding the waves. The videos proved otherwise, and I looked more like like a male walrus struggling not to fall off a piece of styrofoam. And then getting up after the end of the ride was even more embarrassing. So I decided it's time to get back in shape. Maybe not contest shape, but it's time to stop being a fat dad and maybe being a fit dad. So that's, I guess, if you look at it that way, this is kind of the first day in the life of that process. The previous day of the life we did with John Revis that was professionally done was a fun video, but I was as out of shape as I've ever been as an adult. it just happens. You try to build businesses. Building a business is hard. Most businesses fail, and that's not because people don't want them to succeed. I always make the joke, like start a business so you can work 100 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week. Uh, but Mondays are my rough days. Get done, with cardio and abs a little bit. It's by the time I'm eating breakfast, it's about 8. And then I think I did a time lapse. I don't know if it'll make it in the cut or not, but it's from 8 to 2. I take one break for a meal, but other than that, I don't move. It's emails and emails and emails. And if you want to do your clients justice, you got to read the email, you got to look at the pictures, you got to put thought in the response, and it adds up. You think. I mean, I'll have some days where between replies, especially in contest season, where you go over 100 emails a day, and that sounds like a lot, but you don't really realize how insane it is until if you consider even 2 minutes. Or I mean, if you think you spend 5 minutes reading an email, 1 minute thinking of a response, and 3 minute replying, or 4 minutes, that's 10 minutes per email. That's 1,000 minutes. You're not doing 1,000 minutes. There's 600 minutes is 10 hours, and that's not including peeing or eating or drinking or talking or anything. So and to be fair, when you have one of those kind of days, there's probably you know maybe 40 check-in emails at most, and the other 60 are quick. Hey coach, what did you mean by this? Can you just clarify this real quick? Type responses. So it's not nearly that long, but they are long days. I'll get home from this. It's 2:41 right now, so we've already been going for about 40 minutes. Pick up Cora at 3. Be home about 3:15, 3:20. By 3:30, I'll probably eat real quick when I get home. Another 50 gram protein, 50 gram carb, because my metabolism sucks. And then I'll get back to work. My wife will get home about 6:30. I'll eat again then. That's when I'll work out. And then usually what I do is I try to be done with my email work at that point. There's just only so long you can effectively respond to emails and give your best. It doesn't mean that's all the work you can do for the day. And so usually what I do at that point at night is I'll switch to graphics work. And we have some new products out. New beanie. We got a new hoodie. We've got new joggers. I'm not wearing. I was wearing yesterday that I love. They're very comfortable. I'll be pretty much living in those, I think, for a while. And then a new T-shirt design out. We've got a lot of new supplements or now new products coming out. Also, I can't say too much about, but I got to build the infrastructure for that on the website. We're just releasing a blood work analysis edition of the website. If you go to troponinnutrition.com, you can see that we have the sleep apnea screening. My wife's a doctor; she's a dentist, but she specializes in sleep dentistry, and all bodybuilders have sleep apnea. So we set up but the problem is, what happens? You have sleep apnea. You snore. Your wife or whoever you sleep with tells it's, you don't you stop breathing. You feel like crap. So you have it. If you're big, you have sleep apnea. So you go get an appointment with your GP. That takes 3 weeks. He hooks you up, gives you a referral to a specialist. That's 9 months. Then you see them. They schedule your sleep appointment. 3 months later, it's a year before you find out if you have sleep apnea. And it's not like, oh, I have sleep apnea. I don't sleep that good. Like it's killing you. Your pulse ox dips below 90 at night. Sleep apnea is it's killing your gains and it's killing you. And so I just thought that's absurd. And so what we did is we set up the immediate consult. You meet right with a sleep specialist through my website, Dr. Jory Harris, and she can, you're not going to get your CPAP because you still have to go through a sleep test, and we can do that, but you kind of have to be local for that. But we can see you anywhere in the United States. We're working on a global. I mean, the insurance stuff with that is so difficult, getting that all lined up. But nationwide. We're working with a nationwide group of partners through sleeptest.com, where she can do the referral to find out if you meet the qualifications for essentially having sleep apnea. They still need to prove it with a sleep test and get you scheduled for that sleep test. So rather than a year of struggling to breathe, wondering if you're going to die, slowing your gains, it's down to you never leave your couch. You sign up on the website, you do a virtual consult with Dr. Jory Harris, and she refers you right away to a sleep test. And boom. I mean, in less time than you would have even been able to talk to a receptionist about potentially seeing a sleep specialist. You've already had your prescription to get sleep test done. So some people have been taking advantage of it, and I wish I could get the word out better. I'm not a good promoter. I'm not a guy that rants and yells and makes exciting videos that go viral. But as far as prolonging your life, improving your bodybuilding career, and 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 increasing your rate of muscle growth, the best thing you can do, really, other than the things that everyone's already doing, is improve your sleep with some type of sleep apnea device, whether it's a CPAP or what I actually prefer. I mean, I'm smaller now. I'm not 300 pounds anymore, but I prefer a dental device, which is a, a special type of dual mouthpiece that's connected that pulls your lower jaw forward to force your airway open, and it has some elasticity, so there's some a movement allowed for your jaw. But I like it because it has almost a double purpose. Because I'm a mouth breather by nature. Well, not by nature, by broken noses. I learned to mouth breathe because I broke my nose multiple times. And the first time when I was 12, so bad that from the age of 12 up until about 5 years ago, I never breathed out of my left nostril. And so the sleep device kind of forces that nose breathing also, and the air passing from through the nasal cavities increases nitric oxide, dilates your blood vessels, and improves the oxygenation of your tissues at any breath rate. So it's for me, it's been a lifesaver. I mean, I'm wearing my Aura ring, the black ring here. They don't make them for fat fingers. This is the biggest size they got. So apparently, it's not very accurate because it's supposed to be on your ring or middle finger, I think, or index finger. But anyways, it basically alerts me every day that I'm going to die from lack of sleep, but my sleep score is on point, my readiness score is on point, my resting heart rate is on point, never elevated. Uh, it's better than my wife's actually, and she's an endurance athlete, and so the sleep device has been just like an absolute game changer for me. I went from sleeping like a terrible sleep apneic fat bodybuilder where I'd wake up feeling like warmed over death to where now I don't set an alarm. I mean, I work from home. I don't need to set an alarm, but I would never need to anyways. It's rare that I get past 5 hours before I wake up, and I don't know that I could sleep past 6 hours. That 6 hours of fully oxygenated tissues, average pulse ox of 98%. Uh, 6 hours of that is like twice as much sleep as the maybe 8 hours I used to get without a CPAP. It's just a world of difference. I can't stress it enough. I wish there's a way like I could be Santa Claus and give every bodybuilder a CPAP or a sleep device because it really changes everything, accelerates your gains, but really just improved energy and sleep. You know, Popping out of bed, I used to joke, my wife would wake up, pop out of bed, ready to do, like a high kicks, like a chorus line dancer. She's all fired up and ready to go. Where it took me 3 hours before I could even remember what my name was. But now that's what I do. I hop out of bed and I'm ready to rock. Can't stress enough if you have an appreciable amount of muscle mass, a thick, fat, annoying voice and throat like I have, or a thick neck, uh, definitely look into getting sleep apnea testing. And you can. Okay, so we're eating another meal here, chicken and rice. This will be my pre-workout meal. It's now 6:09. I've been going since 7. Stopped filming for Uh, Eating another chicken and rice meal. This will be my last meal before the workout. At 6:09, 6:10. I haven't filmed in a while because I'm running way behind on emails. It's a lot of work doing this filming with it. Still got 31 emails to get through today, and then of course, obviously they come in consistently. So, but I find that if I'm not, I have to have less than 20 emails remaining at the end of the night, or it's a real struggle to stay caught up the rest of the week. And then since it's Monday, I definitely have to get up there. So it's probably going to be a late night tonight. So we'll be doing more filming. But I'll eat this meal, train in about an hour, and then we'll be back here in the office. Okay, didn't quite get to 20 emails, but got 21. Any second now it's going to be 22, so I'm just going to move on. It's been almost exactly an hour since I ate. I like to train an hour after eating, so I'm going to head down and hit some chest because I'm doing a bro split for the first time in 15 years, probably. But I'm enjoying it so far, so we'll get changed for that and head downstairs to the home gym and hit some chest. Okay, we'll hit some chest today. Not sure how this is going to work with YouTube and the music because I don't want to spend the 40 hours editing out background sound, but I do like listening to a little bit of music when I train. Not good music. I, I always joke. I'm trained team train happy. I'm not one of those guys who likes death metal or hard music. I love training, and so I usually listen to fun music if anything, and that's probably what we'll do. I'm going to try to turn the fan on. Hope that creates enough background noise that I can have the music a little bit. As you can see, I'm really technically I'm an audiophile. I love music. This used to be our theater surround system or part of it. We've upgraded that to this is all Clips reference series. We've upgraded to a better version of the Clips stuff uh, in there, and then moved all that stuff in here. It's hard to get it, accurate surround sound because you can't, if you use with Clips, they have the Odyssey set up where you basically set the mic where people will sit, and it optimizes the sound for that. But there's really no way to do that here. So we got some surround speakers over there, some over here. We got the center channel up there, and then we got the front speakers there, subwoofer down there. It is what it is. It's loud if you want it to be. It's good quality. It's just not, concert quality as far as there's no one position you're going to be when you work out. But we'll see what we get. Okay, I think I'm going to try to keep the sound on at least a little bit of my warm-up sets. If I have to cut it out later, then I'll just show the main sets and maybe turn the music off of the main sets and then have a shit workout, but at least it'll be on camera. I don't want to have to cut all this later. I'm just going to keep the music real low. Or, since no one will be watching it, I suppose I could just not monetize it. It's not like I make any money off YouTube. So I think actually that's what I'll do. I imagine they still let me play it. I just can't monetize it. No harm in that. Don't make any money anyways, right? So let's go. I always train too fast when I'm at home. Kind of wish I had a partner to slow me down because I'll catch myself sometimes. You know, I'll get 3 sets in on one song, and I mean that's not bad, I guess. But if I'm really trying, I'm trying to put some size back on and get a little serious about training again. And you're not going to do that with 12-second rests. Pause that. So I don't know what I'm gonna get out of the workout today. As you can see from the video, I mean, I pretty went, no pre-workout or anything. I went straight from straight from my desk down here. Changed shirts. Still wearing the same loafers, my workout loafers. John Rivas, if you're watching. Uh, my body weight's a little low. For whatever, I'm so busy with business. I run Troponin Nutrition, always trying to grow that. I do really all the work for it, really. You'll see maybe later I'm going to do some graphic design work. And so you see, essentially, since day one, everything with Troponin Nutrition has been me, from graphic design, all the emails, all the templates for everything, all the ideas, all the podcasts, filming everything, setting up the cameras, and I have no idea what I'm doing. You'll learn eventually over time. I just recently hired a kid named Cody Chesney. Cody, if you're listening, great work. He's kind of my full-time videographer now. He doesn't live with me, so for things like this, I'm going to try to do more of, I don't know if it'll be me doing the editing at the end or him, but you can see the clear difference when there's someone who actually knows what they're doing involved. But I just always been that way. It's really, really picky, uh, especially about graphic stuff. Probably to my detriment, because I'm sure someone who knows what they're doing is going to do better work than someone who doesn't know what they're doing, which is me. But when I was little, I used to want to be an artist actually, so I do enjoy that part. But anyways, I'm 3 meals in, but so 3 meals in over 12 hours. I'm kind of behind on everything. It's a busy day. I'm gonna have a long night, a lot of work still to do after this. We'll finish here sometime after 8. I'll probably end up working close. I hope I'm done by midnight. And then what I do is I come down. I'll show that too. I come down and play pool. I'm really into pool right now. If you saw a little while ago, I posted some guitar videos. I'm one of those addictive personality type people where I get obsessed with things, and I'll get obsessed with the guitar for a period of time. There's only so much I can play when you work. I run, Troponin Nutrition, First Attachment, although I'm doing a lot less of the day-to-day work with First Attachment. My partner Joe Miller and our main media guy Brian Burfield are pretty much handling all of the workload for that currently right now. I still do formulations, and then we're close to getting into Walmart. So as far as product description and explanation of all the ingredients, I'll take the lead on those calls, at least for that portion of it. And then Team Troponin, Danny and David Lamartina do a lot of the heavy workload for that. I try to add videos and articles as much as I can. And then our storage units. And then if you saw the Day in the Life video with John Rivas, you saw the car wash, which is an absolute disaster shit show. It's completely destroyed. Insurance is trying to claim not to cover it because the car wash is vacant, because no one lives at a car wash. But you know how things work. The little guy always loses, and I may be not little in size, but I'm little as in terms of a multi-billion-dollar insurance corporation. But it is what it is. If you're smart with things, there's always a way. If you're dealing with appreciating assets, if you're smart with things, there's always a way to come out in the end. We might have to self-pay to demo the car wash, but it's still property. It's still property, prime real estate on a main road. We've owned it long enough where our car wash users have paid down enough of the mortgage that it won't be too long before it's paid off, and we'll own the property, and then property valuations go up. The housing market, the real estate market hasn't been great right now because Fed funds rates have been so high, but they'll come back down. There'll be some quantitative easing at some point. Property values will shoot up for a period, and we'll sell then, and we'll end up in the black at the end of the day. It just won't be the day. It'll be at some point down the road in the years. But that's how wealth and financial growth works. It's just like bodybuilding. It's not a linear path. There's ups and downs, but you got to stay the course, and and over time there's that gradual increase. But like I said, my body weight, I was 274. Started training hard again right after the new year. Essentially after I saw myself looking like a beached whale at some vacation videos when we went to Mexico over Christmas. It was pretty embarrassing because it was by far the worst shape I've ever been in my adult life, and I'm looking to change that a little bit. It doesn't take much. Getting size for me, I've been 260 pounds since I was 17. It's essentially just when I'm serious about things, I'm a ripped 260 pounds. When I'm not, I'm a fat 260 pounds. Well, my weight doesn't really change that much. It does when I first start pushing things. Like I shot up to, I actually sent John Rivas an image. I think I was 281 something, 282. I peaked at, and I've been sitting in the high 270s, 278, 279. So I'm down about 5 pounds today. Mostly just not eating much. It was a busy weekend. So we'll see what I get on bench here, but I should be doing sets of 10 right now. I'm pretty sure I won't. But we'll get what we get. Don't get upset. Okay. So I just lost the ability to monetize this video for that shit fucking set. Uh, I'm not really doing any set routine right now, as you'll see. It's been it's been since COVID that I trained seriously. Uh, I have a bigger frame, so I hold weight well, and I think with clothing on, it looks fairly impressive. Without clothing, it's not, definitely not. But I generally do one main set, one back off set per exercise. For big body parts, I usually have rep goals. I should be getting 10 with 315. Terrible that I'm not. But for smaller body parts, for arms, hamstrings, lat work where I have to really focus on the muscle group to get tension on it. I really don't worry about the weight, and a lot of times don't count reps at all. Uh, on arm workouts especially, I don't I, I don't count sets, reps, anything. And sometimes I'll watch a video later on. I'll realize I do, totally different rep counts per arm. So maybe I shouldn't do that, but I really just try to get into the muscle. But my kind of the way I used to look at it when I trained seriously would be I had my main movement, and my goal in that movement was to get stronger. Not just get stronger, not just move the bar path, but the goal was like for this, I'm training chest. So my goal was to get more reps because my chest was stronger, not because I could arch my back better or get more leg drive or take a longer rest between sets, but really just because my chest was stronger. And the progress is slower that way. it's more continual that way because you actually are getting stronger. And that's one of the things people who do like DC and things like that have a lot of problems with, I think, eventually, as they get so focused on getting stronger in the movement rather than getting stronger in the muscle. And you reach a point where you've maximized your biomechanical advantage in the movement, and then you stall out because your strength progression was more related to the fact that you were putting more body English in, you were changing your body position, you were resting longer between sets, or other things like that. So uh, it's, I wish it was emphasized more that that's what progressive overload is. It's making the muscle stronger, not just moving a bar through a path stronger or heavier. That's powerlifting. That's a great sport. I love powerlifting. That was my first love, but it's not bodybuilding. So we did 8 shit reps with 315. So I should get at least 10 here. I almost don't even want to turn the music on because not not happy with that last set, but we'll try to get 12. I've got nerve stuff with my left side. I don't know if you can see in the video, my right tricep compared to my left tricep. I think I tore my left pec minor at one point. And so a lot of these, it'll look like I have more reps in me, but it's that left arm. It's right about here where my tricep and my pec minor are maybe taking more of the load. If I don't have momentum through that position, I'm done. So it used to be good when I was strong because I would be at absolute failure, but it looked like I had room for more reps, and so it made me look stronger than I actually was. But I'm really not. If I don't, it's those injuries and that nerve damage and the torn muscles kind of building up. So maybe find a better song. Or not. Here you go, Mark Harmon, if you're watching. Back when even terrible music was good in the 80s. That was a good example because I almost didn't get that last rep. I was very close to that left arm dropping back down on me. And if you're wondering what I do to treat that, or rehab or prehab, I don't. And that's one of my biggest faults in the sport. If I could go back, I probably would have treated injuries better. But I just never did. And now I'm old and it's too late. I know it's not too late, but it's too low importance for me. All right, this is day one stuff, so I'm screwing everything up. But RIP to anyone who's been listening to this apparently up until just now, because I finally listened back to some of it and the volume was way too high. Lowered it, so hopefully I'm not breaking up from the from the gain. But I'm gonna do a movement here called neck presses. I already did a set vertically for Instagram. Now I'll do one for YouTube. This is an upper chest movement if you don't have an incline bench. Vince Garanda used to do it. I don't know that, I mean, if you definitely feel it in your upper chest. It's interesting. You bring the bar to your, kind of your neck more than your chest, not down here, up here. Probably a little more dangerous. You don't go very heavy on it, and I usually stick to higher reps, but we'll see how it goes. It's remarkably odd talking to a camera all day. You feel almost like a schizophrenic. Maybe you get used to it, but I'm not a very loud or outgoing person to begin with. I'm pretty introverted, and obviously, when I train by myself, I don't say a word. And I'm not a rah rah guy who kind of psychs himself up for sets. For me, uh, and I felt really kind of vindicated because Ed Cohen kind of said the same thing. For me, I mean, the strength is either there, or it's not. And so for me, it's a matter of getting my body in the position it needs to be. If I'm going for strength, or get my body in the position where it needs to be if I'm going for hypertrophy. Like yelling and screaming, to me, I mean, I'm already out of breath. To me, yelling and screaming just gets me more out of breath. And then yelling during the movement, for me, releases the Valsalva maneuver, and I lose all that internal pressure, which kind of just, which, all the pressure that feels like it's locking me into place. And so I'm a very quiet lifter. Always been. I mean, I could be telling a joke or a story on my way to the rack at a powerlifting meet. For me, it's always been that way with sports too. Like it's either there, or it's not. If you know where things need to be, and you've done it a million times, at least for me, I feel like it shouldn't take half an hour to get back to that. If you've done it 1,000 times, 100,000 times even, it should be there. And I almost think that should be kind of part of the focus is learning how to get yourself there that quickly. Because if you need to, and I'm not disparaging or anything, because everyone's got to train their own way. And who knows, I could have been a much better powerlifter, much better bodybuilder if I did things differently. But to me, it feels like when your setup takes longer than the set, you you're not really learning the groove you need to be in to do the set. You're just kind of walking through a set of processes. I don't even really want to say that. Everyone's different. Do what works for you. But for me, I've done all these things so many times. I feel like if I put too much effort into thinking about that stuff, then what have I done the last 30 years? You know, I feel like I should be like when I was really into it. You put a bar on the squat rack. I should be able to walk right up without even a thought. My body just knows the motion it needs to go into and the groove where everything is. And I probably shouldn't even be saying this because I realize everyone's different. And there's probably tens of thousands of powerlifters better than me that do the opposite. So maybe don't listen to anything I say. See, I can't even talk though without getting out of breath. All right, back at it. Some incline now. Move the machines over. All right, it's all crooked. So we'll work it out. That felt right. Where was that on bench? I get made fun of for my music choices, probably rightfully so a lot of the time, because a lot of the time I'm just picking especially when I'm not training hard, I'm just picking a dumb song kind of just for the fun of it. But I am not one of those people who need hard death metal music. I don't, I don't understand lifting angry. This, like, especially as an adult, all you do, your whole life is things you don't want to do. You wake up when you don't want to wake up, go to a job you probably don't want to go to, drive in traffic you don't want to drive to, drive back home in traffic you don't want to drive to, make dinner you don't want to cook, pay bills you don't want to pay, clean a house you don't want to clean. This is the one fun time of my life. And I understand people, all those things they want to do makes them angry. And so maybe, I can understand that release when you're in the gym, but not for me. I'm already angry. I'm not angry, but I'm already doing things I don't want to do all day. This is my fun time. I want to be happy. And so I listen to cheese dick music like this, and I like it. If any of you Always Sunny fans know the value of a Stevie Wonder song. One of the worst things for me training at home, as I talked about earlier about some of my muscular imbalances, with no dumbbells, it really gets exacerbated because, you obviously have to lift with both arms with the barbell also, but you can place more of the load on your stronger arm. And I'll catch that all the time where the weights will slide off, usually on the side of the arm that's stronger. Because what you'll see when people bench, especially like high schoolers or kids just starting out on their last rep, they get here and that left arm's weaker. So, because they know there's reserve strength here, they'll kind of get that arm up and then they'll try to get that right arm up. And I notice that when I do rarely train in a commercial gym with dumbbells, my left side is quite a bit weaker and needs to be something I work on. So I'll start working on getting some more dumbbells and do more isolateral work. Maybe using this fellow more. But like I said, I haven't trained hard since pre-COVID. Well, actually, during COVID, I injured my back pretty badly, very badly, to where I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to train hard again. And I still don't squat or do hinge lifts like deadlift or things like that very heavy. Really, I don't think I ever go over four or five. I don't think I have since COVID. I also don't have any equipment anymore. No, no belts or knee wraps. I have them somewhere in a duffel bag, I'm sure, but when you're not training hard, you don't use them. And so now I don't even know that I'd feel comfortable wearing a belt. But anyways, I don't even know where I was going with that. But muscle imbalances, that's right. I get some dumbbells. I didn't care enough to get dumbbells because for the longest time, and this is the worst thing, for the longest time I wasn't training, I was working out. And it's such an important difference because when you're training, it's for a reason, it's for a purpose. When you're working out, it's to get it over with, And I think that's the biggest thing with the lay people or the normal public is they go to the gym to work out and they're going in there to get it over with. And that sucks. It's not fun at all. And I learned that firsthand. I didn't understand it because, my whole life I trained. For most of my life, you know, the day before leg day, especially squat leg day, was like Christmas. I couldn't sleep, be so excited about doing squats the next day. Where for the last 4 years, I've worked out to where every day it was like, is there is there a reason I could skip today? You know, am I behind on work? But I'm finally starting to find the enjoyment again and find the love again, and realizing how much I needed it, how much happier of a person I am when I'm training. It, I'm just unhappy at how shitty my training is. how It'll come back though, hopefully. I mean, I'm not that old. Maybe. Fuck, maybe I am that old. Okay, moving on to dips. Not because I love the movement, especially that much, but I don't have that many options. and dips are funny for me because a lot of people use them as a tricep exercise, and triceps are probably I don't know, they're my best body part. They certainly grow the easiest. At least my right one that's not all nerve damage. On my good arm, my strong arm. But I never feel dips in my triceps. Never have. No matter how upright I am, no matter what I do, even when I do them for chest, I still try to feel them in my triceps. So it's kind of been an interesting thing to me. Maybe if someone watching this will see something and be like, well, yeah, duh, you're doing this with your chin. Obviously, your triceps aren't going to get worked. But I always found it interesting that I see so many people say this is their primary tricep mass builder, and I've never gotten shit out of them for triceps. Everything else works with triceps, though. Whew. In case you didn't believe I was 270, it wasn't 275. The fact that I hit failure like 4 reps on dips should prove it. So like I said, my biggest problem training at home is going too fast. It's nice having a partner and having that kind of cadence. I used to get kind of frustrated when the workout would drag out too long because you know you start talking, especially when you're friends with a partner. And I do like to push the pace a little bit, but I know I push it too fast. I think, but when I'm by myself, yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know what's good or bad. Nutrition's always been my thing. I mean, my undergrad degree is in exercise science, kinesiology, so I'm formally educated in anatomy and physiology. It's just never been a passion of mine. And female anatomy, maybe, but all right, let's go for a hard 6. Man, well, when you train at home, you have to improvise with a lot of things. So I'm going to do single arm cable crossovers. I don't know if you'll be able to see. May not be bright enough. There's a thing blocking the bar path here. So I can't really step out and do cable crossovers. So I kind of have to contort my body and play with the motion to feel it in my tricep, or feel it in my chest. So we'll do that now. That fan's probably loud against that mic. I don't know if you guys can hear In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel right now. What's his name? Jeffrey Gaines has a pretty cool acoustic version of this song that I really like. About 20 years old now. And because of my left arm weakness, nerve damage, I know there's a pinched nerve or something in my neck. I'm pretty sure that's the main culprit. Runs through my rear delt, my left tricep. I think I did it around 2001 or 2, because I remember feeling it at my buddy Josh Harsh's wedding, which was early 2002, I think. So we got married later in 2002. When I competed, I think it's probably a lot like Ronnie. I mean, not a lot like Ronnie, actually. A tiny bit like Ronnie. And that, I knew the injury happened, and you work through it. And when you're training all those muscles all the time, there's not proper nerve innervation, but there's enough that it's not really super noticeable. But as I get older, and then especially as I train less, it became much, much more noticeable. So whenever I do single arm movements for chest, rear delt, lat, or tricep, I always do want like at least one extra set for my left side, just because I know it's not getting activated as well on any of the barbell movements. That's it. Okay, so I'm back at the office. I'll eat eventually after the workout, but I just have a lot of work to do. So this weekend was rough. We went to bull riding.
To a PBR World Finalist from New Window, Pennsylvania. Horns Ridge, the Velocity Finals. This is Grayson Cole. Get what you got, just give me that. Just give me that.
Which was a riot. If you've ever gone to a professional bull rider event, it was far more fun than I thought it would be. And then Saturday was my daughter's eighth birthday, her first real birthday party. And we had a snowstorm, so I had to plow the road and yada yada, get all that cleaned up, and then the party, of course. And then, geez, what days were what? And then we went to my buddy Brad Hall. If anyone remembers Muscle Mentor, he's down in Indiana. His 40th, so we drove down there. Yeah, that was last night. So we didn't go home till, geez, it was a little after 1, I think, and had to be up, of course, to work. So I'm behind, back 32 emails. It looks like. So that 21 didn't last very long, but half of these are spam. So I'm gonna work for a little bit, get caught up a little bit more. I need to do some graphic design stuff for some ads. Maybe do that later, but I really want to play pool for before I go to bed. So at some point I'm gonna get that in there too. Okay, I'm at 19 emails remaining. It's 9 o'clock. This is 14 hours now. So I'm gonna call it for now. I might be back later to do some graphics, but I need a break, see my family. But anyone watching, if you want to be a coach, if you want to be a good coach, and you want to really care about your clients, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. All right, so this is my little personal obsession right now. Really had a lot of fun learning to play the game of pool. Don't have much time to play, so usually what I do is just like a first game scatter ball here, where I just scatter the balls around and try to clear out without missing. So, for this shot, I'll take the 8 in, and I'll either bring the cue ball back in around here to get the 5 and the 3, or I could bounce it forward here and take the 5 and 3 that way. That was the second version. That was with high English, a little bit of right English. Here I'm going to use a tiny bit of low right English, because on these you want to be past the ball, so when you shoot, the ball can hit the side and bounce out to wherever you need it to, or approximately where you need it to, where I'm going to try to end up somewhere in here. Okay, so I lied about being done with work. Uh, there was just some other things that came through that needed to get done. Uh, and so now I think I might actually play with some graphics, which I actually enjoy doing, but never really get to. Let me check. So I'm gonna make a little movie. If anyone, if you can see this on iMovie, if you record, iMovie will do things, in a non-vertical view. And so if you want to make something a vertical video, which is what I'm gonna do here. So right now, this would not be a vertical video. Let me make sure it's. I'm going to show you an older movement. Oh my God. So I have the sound terrible. I knew that was going on. I have to bring the gain down, but hopefully I don't ruin the entire day of work with that. I have been trying bench now for a long time. For the whole 3 years, I really did it. So I was forced to find different ways to train upper chest. And one kind of cool move. I'll get it right at some point. Some of the older movement, this ground I used to use. I have been trying bench now for a long time. see if I can remember how to do this. Now, when you take, how do we do this? We have to turn this sideways, save it that way, and then open it back up in QuickTime, and then re reverse it from sideways, and that's the way to get a vertical video out of iMovie. Now we open it in QuickTime, and then with QuickTime, we do the same, rotate in the opposite direction. Ta-da! With only slight dumbness, you have a vertical video. So the video is terrible, and I probably shouldn't be doing this at 10:30 because that's how bad it is. But if you ever do movies on iMovie and you film sideways and you want to make it a vertical video, or I'm sorry, if you have a vertical video and want to edit it in iMovie without converting it to a square video, that's what you can do. Turn it sideways in iMovie, save it that way, take it into QuickTime, and then flip it back.